Good everyone. I hope you're having an amazing day. So today I will be demonstrating you guys how to build a Visualforce page using LDS, right? So if you are not comfortable with Visualforce page development, I have talked about it when I was doing Platform Developer 1, how to use standard controller, custom controller, extensions, right? You should check that out. I will also add those lectures as a part of this playlist, right? So you will have, so you will get understanding of how to build a Visualforce page using Elpix. Now, today, what I'm going to do, I will show you how to build a Visualforce page without the help of an Apex controller. We will use LDS to get the data from the server, right? Pretty simple. As I explained to you before when I was talking about Aura, Lightning Design System is pretty handy when you wanted to improve the performance of an CRUD operation. So that's where the LDS is plays a very important role. Okay, so it will you don't have to specifically um, use a Apex code, right, to get the data from a server. Okay, so I will use the trailhead. I will gonna use the trailhead to copy paste the code, what they've done, so that I don't want it to reinvent anything. So, and I'll explain as I go along what we're trying to do. Okay, so that's pretty much the agenda for today. I hope that's okay with you guys. So, let's dive in. And so, what I'm gonna do, I will put into um, So I'll go to, so this is my Visualforce, sorry, this is my org, right? And I'm in the setup here. So I will type Visualforce here, okay? So I'll go to Visualforce page, right? And what I'll do, um, so I will create a new, yeah, not this one. So I'll create a new, right? And I will say, let's say uh, contact VF. So it will display the list of a contact using an Apex code, right? And I wanted this to be available in the Lightning uh, experience, so I'll tick that off, tick that on. So if you untick this option, right, it will not be available for the Lightning experience. So just keep that into consideration. So I will delete it, and I will copy this. Okay, it's pretty simple, nice and easy. Sometimes I believe I should use mouse, which is fine. Come on. Right, cool. So I'll done that. So I'll copy it here, right? And so that's just pretty simple. So now if you look at the code here, right? So this, I'm pretty sure you must be familiar how the Visualforce page works, right? And one thing you have to understand, I mentioned this to you before as well, the show header will not work when you're using this in a Lightning experience, right? You can set it to true, set it to false. It's always false, right? It does not come in. So Lightning experience will not take this setting into consideration. So just keep that into mind. Now you must be looking at the remote objects and the remote object model. Now you must be wondering what the heck that is, right? So if you wanted to access, uh, say objects and the fields using Visualforce remote objects, so I use this option. So in this case, as you can see, so this is my S object contact. So I'm after contact here, and I wanted to access the fields, right? So this is pretty simple, nothing much here. And this is all the div markups. And if you have used HTML, so you will know what div and right one paragraph is all about, and the class, and the definitions and kind of things. Right. I'm not going to go into the details because I have an expectation that you should have a basic understanding of an HTML, JavaScript, um, CSS, right? So because it's important for this certification, because we are dealing with Aura component, we are dealing with the Visualforce page, right? So you should have an understanding of this one. So I'm not going to go into the details of it. So you're going to do this, and I'm going to save. Okay. So nothing fancy here, right? And I'll just do preview, right? So what I'm going to do, I will actually show you how to display, so this is, pretty simple. And so I will show you how to display the contact. Okay. So we go back to the second stuff. So we've created the Visualforce page. As you can see, it's pretty simple. Now we're going to add the page header. Okay, so they're saying that, add the following code between the page header. So we go here. So look for the page header in the code. I'm going to do edit again. And so just going to do Control F. So we're just going to add in between this. And so we do simple. As usual, it's always good to go from the bottom. So I'll do that. And it's here. As you can see, it's nothing fancy here. We are just adding the header information, right? So under that, we have a placeholder for action buttons and the detail rows, right? Detail rows, which contains the list of a contact, right? So we do that, and I'm going to save here. And so we're just going to do the preview here. You see, we got a page header, nice and simple, right? Nothing fancy here. And the code is pretty simple as well, right? As you can see. So we have a div tag and, a p tag, h tag, and you have a class, right? So yeah. And we go to now what we're going to do, we're going to add so I'm not going to add the button here for now. So all right, you know what, let's add the button anyways, because it's, so I'll just do action buttons. So go here, I'm just going to do edit. Okay, so we have with action button, so we just do this, and we don't do save. And just going to do here. As you can see, the buttons are added, right? Just pretty simple, right? So this is how you add a button. So it's a button class. You define a button, then you have a class. This one, right? But SLDS button neutral. So and you give a label to it, and this is it's a form of a group. So we did that, and then we go back. See the Visualforce page, like I said, right? You might be using this in your organization. You might have an existing code which you might want to tidy this up. So yeah, so you should learn to use how Visualforce pages. Although, like I said, it is a primitive technology, but that doesn't mean that you should not know how to use it, because you might encounter an existing project which heavily needs Visualforce page development. So as a developer, you can't say, look, I don't know Visualforce page. That's fine if you don't know, but you should always learn, right? Okay, so what we do now, we're just going to add this information under the page header. So we're going to go here. So this is a page header detail row. So you're going to go here, page header detail row under this, right? And as you can see, if you look at the code, let's look at the code, right? It's pretty simple. So you have list and unordered list, simple list. And so, and this is about the description, and this is where the JavaScript, they have JavaScript code. This is a hyperlink. Doesn't do anything yet, but that's okay. And yeah, I mean, you can go through the code. It's pretty simple. Like it's in the trailhead. So I mean, it's not fancy, right? It's pretty simple code. Just use a few markups in JavaScript. That's all it is. And like I said, I'm not teaching you guys JavaScript here. That's something we can do for me building a course on the JavaScript, but this is which is beyond the scope of this at this stage. Okay, so that's done, and you can see that this looks nice and easy. Okay, so what we've done, we have added the detail row. That's great. Now what we're going to do, we're going to use the JavaScript to get the list of the contacts. Okay, so that's the next thing, which is fantastic. And we're going to do add a detail row, add a tile for each contact. So we're going to go to the JavaScript. Excuse me. Right, so you're going to take this up and copy the code here. And we're going to go here, edit. And this right, and this is a pretty basic code, right? Just the JavaScript to get the just getting a record. So you just getting by you're getting a contact basically, right? You see the contact, and you're getting by order by last modified descending, and yep, and there's a limit of 810, which is fine. So you can so you can do that, or you can do limit of 5. Don't care about this one. So save, and you can just do run here. You see, I got the data based on the last modified and 5 records, right? If you wanted more, you can add more, right? So that's why I don't want 800 rows to return. So as you can see, right, pretty simple, right, to do Visualforce development using LDS. You don't have to worry about controllers, right? So this is a pretty handy, like I said, I don't use Visualforce page for my day-to-day, Salesforce work. And the place where I work, I work as an architect. So, we have developers, who does the stuff. I do development at times, right? Sometimes I do get to do cool stuff. I do get to do, build the complex enterprise level stuff, which is the best part, right? Being an architect. I'm not saying being a developer is bad. I mean, I've been a developer for many years. I mean, I'm still a developer at heart. I can code pretty much for the rest of my life, because development is fun. I like it. So what I'm trying to say, right? I haven't used Visualforce Page for a year or so because we don't use Visualforce Page. But the reason why you should know, some companies do use Visualforce Page, and they expect you to do. I mean, if someone asks me to work on Visualforce Page, I will do it. I mean, because it's a part of the requirement. Why not, right? It's just another legacy technology, right? I worked on pretty legacy technology before Salesforce, right? So it doesn't matter much. So it's good to know bits and pieces of it. I would highly encourage you guys to at least have an understanding of how the Visualforce page, how it ties together with LDS, right? How it works in the Lightning side of things. I mean, I'm not asking you to go, extensively deep into it. I mean, if you want, you're most welcome to do so. But from a future perspective, having a decent understanding of Visualforce page helps, right? And then I would, if you ask my opinion, any new development, go to LWC. If you think that there is a limitation on LWC, then go to Aura, right? But should not. But but I will never encourage you to pick up a Visualforce page as a new development option. Now that's pretty much I would say it's not a harsh statement, but it will be a very wrong choice, I would say, if you are starting Visualforce page for any new development, right? So yeah, that's my opinion. That's as an architect, I have to look from a not only from a maintainable point of view, but from a cost perspective as well, right? Because if we can't introduce a tech debt to a system, which is going to be a very bad mistake, right? So yeah, so that's pretty much I wanted to see. And as you can see, that I don't have much badges, right? I don't, call me lazy, right? I don't do much badges, to be honest. I mean, I can do stuff, right? I mean, there are a lot of things, I learned during work time, because I got exposed to do a lot of things, right? And I've seen, I got a mate, he's a Salesforce. He's been in Salesforce space since 2000, I think 2008. He's one of the best Salesforce guy I've worked. I mean, he lives in the United States. Um, he got like 15 or 16 badges because he said I don't really like to, and he don't have much certification too, right? I mean, he got admin, I guess, and perhaps the developer one, but he works an architect, right? He builds enterprise level systems, right? Extremely knowledgeable on Salesforce platform. You ask him any damn thing on the Salesforce platform, he will tell you. At the same time, I've seen people with 15 certification and freaking unable to answer, basic question, right? That's why I don't really. I know that's why I'm not saying that you should go and crazily get into certification. Certifications are great. I mean, but if you can't back up with the real experience, then it's pointless, right? What's the point of learning a tool, right? And if you will not be using it anywhere, you should learn a tool when you know you're gonna use it extensively, right? That's my approach. Um, so yeah, I mean, if you wanted to do sort of get yourself certified, it's great. I mean, if you get an opportunity to work on this, great. I mean, if you're a developer, platform developer, one, two, I would highly encourage you should take it. Right? It's just good to have. All right, and same goes with app builder, Salesforce admin. But if you wanted to get into the architect side of things, at least the system architect, I would highly encourage you should guys to have it. Application architect, it's okay. I mean, it's more on the functional side of things. It's not really, too technical in my personal opinion. That's application architect is the easiest part of an architecture in Salesforce. System architect needs some time to understand. You need to have a little bit of programming experience, right? So, yeah. That being said, I hope you guys have an amazing Sunday. And if you're in New Zealand, enjoy your long Labor weekend. Cheers. Adios.